About 3 years ago, I thought I was being followed by a creature I would describe as a goblin. Since then, other people have told me that it probably was a demon or a ghost, and I thought I'd tell you the scary story that happened to me that inspired me to tell other people scary stories. Looking back, I don't actually know if I believe it happened. Like, it did happen, but I don't believe that could have happened to me. So I was at a spa in West Yorkshire, and we were staying, there's like 6 of us in an apartment. I was on a sofa bed in the lounge, and there was another sofa bed. These beds are so uncomfortable, and I don't sleep very well on an uncomfortable bed, and I usually get migraines and headaches. And I woke up about 5 a.m. in the morning because my headache was just getting really bad because of how uncomfortable I was, and I decided to get up, get dressed, go and try and use the gym or the spa facilities. However, they didn't open until about 7 a.m. So I had to sneak back into the apartment, and I had to get back into the sofa bed because all the lights were off and everybody was asleep, and I just sat there on my phone scrolling. Now, the natural texture of my hair is pretty crazy, and it's often in the way all the time. And I was having my arm behind my head, propping myself up while I was scrolling, and I could feel something tickle my arm, and I thought it was just the texture of my hair. But it happened one too many times that I shat myself and thought it was a spider. I've had a spider caught in my hair before. It was trapped in a curl, and it was the worst experience ever. And I panicked, thinking, oh my God, there's a spider running riot around my head. And I quickly sat up and looked in the direction where I thought a spider would be. So I didn't see a spider. Instead, my eyes kind of focused past the arm of the sofa, and it looked like I saw like a little head. Like, imagine like this silhouette of a head. Immediately, like I felt like that uncanny valley feeling. I was like, that's not right. But I thought about everything it could possibly be, thinking it's a lamp, it's a shadow, it's a bag, like it's definitely not a head. I decided to ignore it and lay back down, but I kept my eyes on it while I lay back down. And as I laid back down, the head like peered up like this. Again, I was thinking, what's casting this really weird shadow? And while my eyes were fixated on it, I saw it go back down. And that's when I decided to go closer to it, because I wanted to see what was making this shadow or this shape. Now, as I leant closer to it, it didn't move, but I started to see an outline of a face, and I was probably like this far away from it, like face to face. And I could see, the first thing I saw was its mouth. It was like a huge mouth with really janky, horrible, like missing teeth. Its eyes were so far back that it kind of didn't look like it had any eyes. They were just kind of like hollow black shapes. Its hair, it was basically bald, but it had like wire strands of hair, and its skin colour looked like a grey colour, and it also looked like it had a shiny or wet texture to it. As soon as I saw its features, I screamed, "What the fuck is that?" And it woke up my mother-in-law, who was with me in the same room, and she turned on the lights, and I said, "There's something behind the sofa." She looked, and there's nothing there. I genuinely believe that something was there. Even to this day, I've been thinking about its face a lot lately and what it could have been. But because I woke everyone up and no one was there, or nothing was there, everybody kind of took the piss out of me. Like, oh, you were dreaming. We had a great trip at the spa, but Jordan thought she saw like a ghost. I did feel kind of stupid, so I left it at that, and I didn't really talk about it. But the following months, I think it was about 2.5 months, so many things started happening. I mean, to briefly go over, I have made other videos about this, but I kept on feeling like I kept on seeing something quite small, like run past me all the time. Things were like being moved. I felt like I was going crazy because I thought I was doing it myself. Like, I would find my toothbrush like in the bin and my phone in the fridge. Pictures that were on the wall would be on the floor, and I think, like, have I done that? Have I done that? It was during like the work from home period, and I had a different job then, and the door knocked because it was the postman, and I went downstairs after being on a Zoom call. When I came upstairs, everything on my desk was unplugged. Everything. And I was genuinely thinking that I was doing it to myself. So I was scared that I was just like forgetting stuff. Like, and I was scared that I was like haunting my mind was haunting itself, because to me, like, not knowing that you're doing that is as scary as something paranormal. Then when I finally realised that I thought it was a goblin was because sounds so fucking weird. I was taking my dog out for a wee one night before we went to bed, and at the bottom of the garden of the house I was in at the time had like a little table where we'd feed the birds and squirrels nuts. And it was like 11 p.m. at night, and it was November, it was cold. I started hearing like little taps on the floor, and I was thinking like, what's that? And I looked down and I noticed peanuts were being thrown at me. These peanuts were on the table, like right at the bottom of the garden. And I looked at the garden and my dog was growling at the fence. And there was a tiny arm, like a baby arm, leaning over this like 6-foot fence, grabbing bunches of peanuts and yeeting them with force across the garden. I told you it sounds so fucking weird. The reason why I connected it together with being what I saw at the spa was because I saw the colour of its skin on its arm, and it was this silvery grey colour. Anyway, I was like, holy shit, I'm being haunted. What's going on? Still decided not to confide in anyone. I didn't confide in anyone. And then it was near Christmas time at this point, and me and my husband were like out shopping. He was in like a vintage bookshop, and I was waiting outside because I just find those shops smell. And there was like a witchy shop, you know, like what type of witchy shop I mean, like opposite me. And I was just kind of like lurking in this corridor. All of this stuff was inside in like a really old mill building. And a woman like came up to me. I honestly can't remember how she opened up this conversation, but it was weird. And she basically told me, without me saying really anything to her other than like looking at her like that, she said that I have an attachment. It's called a low vibrational entity. It likes scaring me. I need to ignore it. I need to stop thinking about it because it's like thriving off my fear. Then she told me to go into the shop. She could have been a sales lady, who knows. She told me to go into the shop, buy a candle. It was a white candle. And she says, when I'm alone and when I feel calm enough to do so, light the candle, tell it to go, and don't burn out the candle. When the candle's blown out, open the window, and like, that's it, it's done. I bought this candle and thought nothing of it. Didn't really do anything until I think it was just before Christmas. I was sat in our bedroom at the time, and before I just had a bath, and I thought my dog had entered the room while I was having a bath because I saw something small and the bathroom door opened, and when I looked, nothing was there. My dog wasn't there, and I thought, I don't like being vulnerable in the bath and something like watching me, and that's what made me scared enough to do it. So I went into my bedroom. I got this candle. I felt like an absolute idiot when I did it. I got this line from Lois Lane because I remember watching her years ago, and it was, I fill my life with love and light, because that's the only thing I could think of to say. And I just kept on telling it to go, and I just kind of sat there. No, I'm going to sound like an absolute weirdo. I was just kind of in the zone, like legs crossed, breathing. I filled my life with love and light, and all of a sudden my head tipped backwards. I let out this really big sigh, and I felt like my jaw was like touching the floor. That's how big the sigh was. And when I looked up, the candle had blown out and everything stopped. I had no more weird attachment. Since speaking about this, people have said it was probably something called a duendes, or I don't know, like a ghost or a djinn. I still think I can be talked out of it. I think someone can say to me, oh, you were just in a really rough patch of your life. But that's my scary story, and I thought I'd share it again.